Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. Most of us in our places with bright, shiny faces. Although, Stephen Hill, you look a little in the dark. There's
Oh,
a
do
bit of
I?
a
Okay.
shadow
All right,
creeping
let me turn
over
this.
your
I
handsome
just.
visage.
Uh, how's this
Oh,
better?
that's
Is this better?
better. That is so much better.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
understand that when light comes at you, it illuminates you better.
Yeah.
New philosophy, new
Yes.
philosophy, but
Yes.
I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Hey
Sometimes going with the new is good. Hello,
there.
young Kwyn Townsend Riley. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing?
Are you home in Virginia? Are you home in Chicago?
I am back home in Virginia for now, but I'll be back in Chicago this weekend and then the last June.
All right. Okay. You sound
Well,
like you have a bit of a cold, or is it sinus or what? Because sinus is everywhere.
Yes, I do have a bit of a cold. I got COVID, so I am here.
Yeah.
I'm
You know
sorry.
what? You're not the
Got it
first
like have
person
it,
to
got it and
tell
have
me
it,
that.
got it and
Yes,
have
I
it, or
got
got
it
it.
and I have it. I was in New Orleans last week for a conference, and then one
A
of our coworkers.
conference.
Really, it
It
was a conference. Michelle Alexander was speaking. So it was really
was a
cool. Like I attended.
conference. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It was a national conference on race and ethnicity in New Orleans, and one of our coworkers, he said he got it, and so that prompted me to get a test because my throat felt a little ashy anyway. But I was like, okay, maybe it's just because I'm tired.
Hmm.
But I got it, and I tested twice, and it said I was positive. So
Positive. Oh, I'm sorry.
Positive.
Is this your first time having COVID?
yes, this is the first time.
Mm.
Monday, I was just
Okay.
asleep all day. Tuesday, I was half asleep, half awake. But today, I feel really full of energy. And I was talking to my mom earlier. I just got to order. I got to Instacart more things. I got to get some tea and like other stuff. But
May I
yeah.
recommend a hot toddy? I'm just saying I didn't have COVID, but I had a really bad cold, and it made a world of difference for me and being able to rest and sleep. So I don't know if that's your issue, but it did clear
Oh,
up some things for me. So I'm just saying.
yeah. I'll try that too. I figure out how to make it. And thank you.
And
Can't come in.
in addition, it looks like your hair is like Chris Light at CNN. Gone,
Gone.
gone.
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Okay. Okay. All right.
I like
thank
it.
you. Thank you.
I
Trying
like it. It's
something new.
cute. It's very cute.
Mhm.
It looks summery. It's fresh.
Exactly.
Yeah, good look on you. Good look on you. Stephen Hill, I
Mhm.
like your haircut too. How you doing?
Thank you very much. It's easy to maintain. Easy to maintain, and it's funny. My hair grows faster now than it did when I actually had hair. Like now, I'll shave, and another day later, like, oh, where we at? Where we at? While the top is still, they were still
Still
with a little Rip
resting in
Van Winkle,
hibernation.
a little Rip Van Winkle on the top
Yeah,
of my hair. But
yeah,
how
yeah.
you doing, Sybil? With your glasses that match the background of the program
Yeah, it does.
on the
Today it
on the
is
air?
a bit of a
Mm,
match. It is. It is.
it's matchy matchy.
I'm good, thank you. Weather is kind of 80ish and not bad. So I'm glad you guys are here. Myra J is not today. Myra J is on a family vacation and had some technical difficulties, so she will be unable to join us. But I'm glad you guys are here. Let's move to the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter in which we super serve the African American community with stories that we do regarding the topics that affect many of us on a day to day basis. Kwyn Townsend Riley is our LGBTQ plus contributor. And every Wednesday, Quinn comes in and she talks about issues that are pertaining to that community. Quinn, tell us, what does it mean to be a trans person in Florida these days?
So right now there are a lot of folks that identify as trans that have been using a popular crowdfunding service named GoFundMe for transition purposes. Lots of folks are leaving, retreating Florida after another law recently got passed that prohibits access to gender affirming care for adults and bans it for minors. So within this article, there's a 30-year-old trans woman by the name of Sage who lives near the Orlando area, who was able to crowdfund about $3,000 to relocate to Chicago, actually. And
Mm.
GoFundMe has seen over $200,000 raised just to help specifically trans people relocate from Florida. And this is in a major contrast to how many people are actually donating to nonprofits that actually do LGBTQIA work. There are lots of organizations such as the Campaign for Southern Equality that advocates for the LGBTQ plus community, and they actually provide direct grants of $500 to families of transgender minors across the South and to transgender adults in Florida. So I encourage folks to just check out the GoFundMe's that people are posting up now, but also like do your research, like to find, you know, your local chapter of the Human Rights Campaign. I know we have the Human Rights Campaign in Illinois. I know we have the Human Rights Campaign also in Virginia. But other nonprofits you can directly donate to, because we are seeing just a new wave of civil rights. And a lot of folks are trying to find their sanctuary, trying to find their peace, trying to find their home in other places.
Their tribe, their people.
Yeah. And right now there are over 94,000 transgender adults living in Florida. So unfortunately, not all of them are able to relocate. So the ones that are able to, you know, they're fortunate.
And there are parents, there are adults with children who are undergoing a transition, and they are seeking another way to make a living in states that are more accepting of this in order to bring their children to an area where they can get the medical as well as the psychological care that they desperately need.
Yeah, I did see some articles about parents having to either quit their jobs because their insurance no longer would pay for their children's gender affirming care, or parents that had to take their children out of their schools because the schools wasn't providing that social transition, you know, with like calling children by their preferred pronouns. So there's been like a huge type of exodus, as we see from lots of conservative states to more like blue states such as like Illinois, like fleeing from Virginia to Illinois across the country, just for folks to feel safe and feel accepted, which you would hope would be in the place that you grew up in. But, you know,
is it fair to say that all of the states that have Republican governors and Republican majority House and State House and Senate, that these are the states where people are not going to get good transition care?
I want to say yes, but that's only because I haven't done my thorough research on Ohio, which I don't know if Ohio.
Ohio is very, very conservative. You're right about that. I'm not sure.
I don't know about Ohio's stance on all gender affirming care and access. I haven't seen anything such as explicit as Florida, outside of Florida, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia, you know, this type of area. But like Ohio, Utah, I'm not so sure about everybody else. So I want to say yes, but I don't know if it's like safe to say yes, because I think
if the people know, they'll tell us.
That's for sure.
We can definitely count on that. Steve, you have people in Ohio. Do you know anything about the makeup of that state and how they are accepting or not accepting?
Look, I think how Ohio, as Ohio goes, so goes the nations, because Ohio is conservative with a liberal lean, and the cities are very different than the rural areas of Chicago and then Ohio. And of course, there are actually 3 or 4 decent sized metros in Ohio, right? Cleveland, Akron, Dayton, Columbus, and Cincinnati. So there's even more. So I think it can go either way, and I think that's why Ohio is such a key state. It has run Republican a number of times. I think the governor is Republican.
Yeah,
I'm going to go on a limb. Yep.
Yeah, DeWine is DeWine still?
Oh, is Mike DeWine still? Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Michael Stallworth, of course, knows. It is a lean Republican state. Used to be a swing state, but meaning it's not a thin Republican state. It does lean Republican, and so it's interesting to see how all of that works. But thank you, Michael. This is Pride Month, and this isn't the only time that Kwyn gives us Happy Pride Month, by the way, everyone. This
Merry
is
Pride
not the
Month.
only time of the year that Kwyn does this. She is our LGBTQIA contributor every week. Trust and believe, every week, if not every day, there are stories that Kwyn could contribute to the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is absolutely free. We'd love to have you subscribe. Please go to SybilWilkes.com. Give us your name and your email address. We'll have the newsletter in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. Kwyn's big brother, Cameron, is one of our political contributors, as well as Coy Malone is our social justice contributor. And Aprilette Russell is our mental wellness contributor. All of these fine young people come in and give stories and give their perspectives on these various topics. So, in addition to this, I do mention that we do talk about politics, because that's one of my jams, if you will. But this is political in a way, because what started out with another encounter with the Stand Your Ground law in the state of Florida, now the sheriff of Marion County, Florida, which is where Ocala, Florida, the horse country in Florida is, had a horrific shooting, and it was initially thought that this was a stand your ground story, and had that kind of lean to it, to use Michael Stallworth's word. This is a horrific situation in which this family, headed by a Black mother, 30-something years old, with 4 young children, ages 3, 8, 10, and 12, had a years-long battle, if you will, going on with a neighbor, a white woman. And last week it came to a head, and a dangerous and a very sad ending. The kids were playing in the area where it's a playing field. And this woman, a 58-year-old white woman, is yelling at the kids, "Quiet down, you're making too much noise." And she's known to yell racial epithets and things like that. This is what the neighbors are saying. So she goes and she chases off AJ Owens' children. AJ is the 30-something-year-old Black woman. She goes and chases them away. One of the kids left his iPad, a tablet, in the field, and he went to retrieve it. She apparently picked it up, and they were trying to get the tablet from her. They tried at one point, and she threw something at the kids, hitting one of the boys in the foot. The 10-year-old and the 12-year-old went to her door to try to reason with the neighbor. "Can we please get our tablet?" And she opened, and I'm laughing because it's just so ridiculous. She opened the door and she swung an umbrella at them. They went home to tell their mom, because how you gonna tell your mama, I lost my tablet, right? And so the mother comes, and she's angry, and she and this woman, the white woman and the Black mother, have had these things going back and forth because of the things she has said and done to her children. She stands on the front door. She knocks at the woman's door, and the neighbor said the next thing they knew, a bullet came through the door, hitting the mother in the chest. And as she stood there with her 10-year-old, she was taken to the ground, hit in the chest, and she subsequently died. This happened Friday evening. As of Tuesday, no charges had been filed. And there were a lot of people saying, well, where are the charges? What are you going to do? And so subsequently, the Marion County Sheriff's Department said, we have to file. We're just doing our due diligence with the interviews. Neighbors finally came forth on Tuesday. They said they had to have a specialist in to question the children who witnessed their mother's murder. There were a number of other things. They got Ring camera videos and things like this. So finally, they got everything in line. They filed charges, including manslaughter charges, against AJ Owens. So she was arrested. She's now in prison. She's now in jail. And now the word is that the family attorney is Benjamin Crump, and he says manslaughter is not the answer. It should be murder. So they will go round and round about this with the DA and what have you. But from a perspective of, growing up in a neighborhood where everybody knew your name and kids were expected to go out, and Kwyn, you know this, Stephen, you know this too. Your neighbors knew you, and if they told you to quiet down, we did. But then we, got back up again. I lived across the street from a school, so there was always a lot of noise coming out. But this woman was so tight and so angry about all the people in her neighborhood. And when I say racial epithets, it was N-word this and N-word that, according to reports. They show her walking the walk of shame as they arrested her. But these children, their lives will never, ever be the same.
Ever.
Mhm.
They had their specialists. I'm sorry, Steve, go ahead.
No. All I can do is agree, and I'd love to know what took them so long to arrest. Have they given a reason as to why it took so long to arrest?
They said that it took time to get witness statements. A lot of the neighbors finally came forward yesterday and gave their statements to the police. They said they needed to get the video evidence, and they needed to call in a specialist to talk to the children to get their perspectives on what happened.
So I guess I get that if you're preparing for the trial.
Right.
But if there's no doubt that this is the person who put a bullet through the door to end this person's life, I'm not quite sure why they need to interview the children or anything else before they take that person in. That's what just doesn't,
because they can change the charges, right? I mean, it's not as if it is cut in, stone. This is it, right?
Right. Somebody shoots somebody, you're like, you are arrested for shooting this person. We're gonna figure out what you're actually gonna be charged for later. But like, you don't get to roam the streets freely. Maybe that's the thing I just don't understand.
What she was doing in her household between the Friday and now.
Exactly. Yeah. Getting all her ducks in a row, no telling. Yeah.
Anything. Like, she could have gotten her witnesses together. Like, she could have left. Honestly, like, I don't know, like, why. But my heart is just breaking for these kids. I can't.
Broken.
Oh yeah.
And another case of a white person shooting a black person through a closed door. Not too long ago, we were talking about the case of Ralph Yarl in Kansas City, who went to an address by mistake. What is the deal? This is not how you don't answer the door. Mm-hmm. If you're fearful, call the police. But the answer is not answering the door with a weapon.
At all.
Ever. Their lives will never be never be the same. And this young woman's mother is now left to bury her child and take care of her child's children. Woo! It's life is not fair. We know this. But I only
hope that this person goes, there's no, stand your ground. There's no stand your ground. There's nothing. It's just a murder. Not just a murder, but it's like, it's murder.
Right.
Let's move accordingly.
And that's what the sheriff said in Facebook post. He said, this is not about standing your ground. This is about a killing. Yes. Well, Sheriff, that's great. That's great that you say that. But what took you so long? But you did your due diligence. Okay, the charges have been filed. Not crazy about the level of charges, but here we are. So that's the story that I was working on yesterday and just breaking my heart. And we will continue to tell people about the different things that are going on. I do want to ask people to go to the Black and Missing Foundation entry that we have every week, and looking for Desiree Jones, who's been missing for the last week, May 30th, from Sweetwater, Texas. 16-year-old Desiree, a female Black young woman with light complexion. Give a description of her, and she was last seen at the Love's Travel Stop on Interstate 20 in Sweetwater, Texas, May 30th, about 11 p.m. And they say that she was on her way to take a bus, a ticket purchased by a stranger. They don't know. Go look at this young woman and see if you recognize her. If you do, please go to the Black and Missing Foundation website. Mm-hmm. And among the other things, we also have the Little Known Black History Fact and, of course, the HBCU Corner. And Kwyn's big brother, Cameron, does a great job of breaking down a lot of statistics. I told him that my eyes kind of glaze over, Steve, when we have numbers that Cameron kind of throws out, but he does a really good job of talking about things. And that was one of the stories that we talked about yesterday, but definitely Black folks and Democrats are tired of who the standard party bearers are and the possibility of a third party candidate. And tomorrow he talks about Dr. Cornel West and what his campaign looks like. So it'll be interesting, I promise you. All right, that is our What You Need to Know newsletter. And look at Kwyn, she's so proud of her big brother. And that is our What You Need to Know newsletter. We would love for you to subscribe and join us. Yes, Stephen.
Here's what I need to know. Did Cameron find somebody? I know we were trying to hook him up a little while ago. Did Cameron find somebody or
He
not?
did not. You got news?
Not yet.
Okay.
A fine, educated, thoughtful man like that is still out on the loose in these streets.
A fine, super educated, politically, critically acclaimed, acclimated, Christian-loving, vegan-eating, tall man. Did I say he was degreed?
Don't forget that. And got a job, so got a real job.
Got a real job. Good insurance.
He's not a thug. You know, y'all.
He ain't out here in these streets. Okay, y'all.
Don't miss him. Don't blink. Don't blink.
It's been over a year. It's been over a year since we tried to hook this up. So it's been over a year for show.
I wonder if we should revisit that, Yolanda. Let's move to our What's Really Going On question. June 7th, 2023 would have been the 65th birthday of one Prince Rogers Nelson. So the question for everyone to answer, and we'll start with the most obvious number one Prince fan. What's your favorite Prince song? And check this out. Music stars have covered his iconic songs. What song would you like to cover? These are all a series of questions. You can answer them all, or you can answer one. Your favorite Prince song, what song would you like to cover? And what about your favorite Prince memories or concert moments? Stephen Hill can answer all of these, as you know, but we are asking all the Prince fans out there to answer one or all of these questions. So the cover songs, Bruce Springsteen covered Purple Rain. Patti Smith did When Doves Cry, and the Foo Fighters covered Darling Nikki, and Tom Jones did Purple Rain too.
Tom Jones did Kiss as well. Famously did Kiss.
Yeah,
had a great version of Kiss.
Yeah, I have.
Adam Levine does a great cover of Adam Levine from Maroon 5 does an amazing Purple Rain. An amazing Purple Rain.
Okay. Is Adam Levine still with us?
Adam Levine?
Yeah, he kind of went off. He went off the
When he asked his girlfriend if he could name his baby, after his mistress.
Yeah. He kind of took a nosedive in the popularity department, and he left the talent show and went down. So Stephen Hill, talk about Prince for us.
What do you want? Look, what do you know? There's literally no one like him. I've known musicians in and out of my life, and there's been nobody as dedicated to music, as moving things forward as Prince. Not only that, he understood things about the music business before everybody was ready. He was one of the first to do that whole quit a major label and make the money on his own. He warned us about what the internet was going to do to music, and it was going to make it hard for people to count things. He's always been ahead of his time, where people were like, you don't know what you're talking about. And then 10, 15 years later, people are like, oh, that's exactly right. So as a musician, he is unparalleled. He's absolutely unparalleled.
What about as a person?
Rock in the country? As a person, he was interesting. There's different. I mean, look, I experienced a few different Princes. Young, cocky as he got older, like in the early 2000s. Really thoughtful. Really quite a great conversationalist. Loved to challenge the norm, but loved to have a good laugh as well. it's no secret the time was kind of the alter ego that he couldn't have at the time because he had this certain persona.
Yeah.
So he just channeled all that stuff through Morris Day, and a lot of the stuff you hear Morris Day saying is stuff that came from is stuff that came from Prince, but just always brilliant, and of course was deeply religious, thanks to Larry Graham, who turned him on to that. So
to
miss him to this day. I miss. It's funny. I went to go see. I saw Beyonce last week in Paris. I only bring that up is because that's really the first. No. Because the thing that I miss most about one of the things I miss most about Prince is the anticipation of going to see Prince perform live. Right?
Every
time.
Week.
Oh my God! It's a week. It's a week before I get to see him. Oh my God! Tomorrow's the night, right? And so until that concert last week, I had forgotten that feeling. I'd forgotten that feeling of anticipation of a big thing, and it no matter how many times I'd seen him, I saw Prince well over 200 times.
Sure.
Well over 200 times. It was always special. It was always special.
Wow. Do you? I think you said you still have the ticket stuff from like the first time you went to see him.
I do. January 30th, 1982.
Yeah. Wow.
Capitol
So
Center.
you were you in college or were you a high school kid then?
College. I was in my sophomore year.
Wow.
Sophomore year? Yeah, sophomore year. Yeah.
And so was that held in the city where Brown was?
No, it was during Christmas break. So I was down at DC, Capitol Center.
Oh, perfect. Oh my gosh.
He was doing most of those tours in large theaters, but DC was such a great market. He put it in the Capitol Center there, in the big arena there. So.
No, Kwyn, we're not going to leave you out. Do you have a favorite Prince song or a favorite Prince memory, or maybe being introduced to Prince by your mama, who really is a well-rounded music lover?
Yeah, I definitely was introduced to Prince and Michael Jackson, not in the realm that I think people usually pit them against each other, but also how they relate to each other, how they're a bit more like congruent. Like you can braid them together and have like this beautiful tapestry of like just different genres of music, but also like how they were, I think as Stephen Hill said, like brilliant in terms of the way that they went against and kind of agitated what we define as an actual artist and not necessarily like a musician. I will say I don't have a lot of favorite Prince songs. I'm trying to enlarge that in my personal life. But I will say, because I'm a huge fan of Janelle Monáe and Aaron Allen Kane. And Aaron Allen Kane is a jazz, bluesy, R&B, soul, eclectic type of artist. And Janelle Monáe is like this queer, like punk rock type of artist. And for them to both be just prominent Black women that I feel like in an industry where people see them as like agitators and like disruptors to like a norm, I can see just like Prince's ripple effect to lots of artists today, and how a lot of folks are still like refusing to conform and spark up controversy, which can always be a good thing. So,
the only phone call I'd seen him and we talked. The only phone call I ever got from Prince was in support of having Janelle Monáe close the BET Awards a certain year.
Nice.
The year I forget now. I can't remember what song she did it with, but he called and had "This Is Why" and "She's This," and we had talked about Janelle Monáe before he ever met Janelle Monáe. And so it was kind of a full circle moment for that. I can't remember the year now, but yeah.
The first time you met him.
First time I met him was September of '88. And Love Sexy Tour had just opened up. It had a European run. I'd gone to see a couple shows there. I came back to see the opening show in St. Paul. He had an after party at Paisley Park, and I just ran up on him. Hi, big fan. Hi, big fan. He looked a little strange. He looked a little strange, and he reluctantly shook my hand.
Steve, do you think that had they lived, that Michael Jackson, as Kwyn was referring, Michael Jackson and Prince would have ever worked together?
No. They had an unbelievable amount of respect for each other, but are two just always been two completely different artists. There was, of course, the famed desire to, I don't know if you know, there was a desire to get them together. There was a Bad, which was on the Michael Jackson album, some people thought that might be a good duet for Michael and Prince to go against each other. Prince was adamantly against that, as he once said in an interview with Chris Rock. Now, the first words to that song, "Your butt is mine." Now, I'm not going to say that to you, and you're not going to say that to me.
And that said it all.
No.
Okay.
But Michael Jackson on one of those residencies Prince had in Vegas. Michael did go to see him perform. And by all accounts was wowed, as you might expect he would be.
Of course.
And I don't think people talk about his charitable efforts too. Like, didn't he donate like lots of his money towards like social justice things and stuff? Kind of came out like after.
He was very, very aware of things that were going on in our world. He was very pro-Black. He loved his people and a lot of the issues that were going on and affected in much the way I think that, we look at Colin Kaepernick and in the way he donates and makes money available to people who are going through things. And I think that could be the same. But he was very private about that too, wasn't he, Steve?
Yep. He just figured he didn't need to be known for it. He just did it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And when Freddie Gray was killed in Baltimore, he wrote a song about it. He came there and did a show to raise awareness. But all the way back, even back in the pre-Purple Rain days, was very involved, especially in local things that promoted local arts. So
really cool.
Still miss that guy.
C.M. Williams on Facebook. First time I saw Prince perform was on Saturday Night Live in 1981. Wow. Steve, you remember that?
I do very well. I think he was only on twice. He did 1981. No, I'm sorry. No. He's done more than twice. He's on, I think, 4 separate times. He's on 1981, and then he came back and did something for Batman.
So that was
if a man is considered guilty for violence, then give me the electric chair for all the future crimes. I forget the name of the song now.
So Batman was what, 92?
89.
89. Okay.
Batman was 89. Okay. Yeah.
Mrs.
Electric
Davidson,
Chair. That's the name of the song. Electric Chair.
On Facebook said, favorite Prince memory was seeing Purple Rain with friends. It was a perfect time to be a teen. That's true. Also happy I visited his compound after he passed, though bittersweet. Kwyn, have you ever been?
No, I haven't. I was gonna say, is he actually buried somewhere, or is he do they disperse his ashes?
They never revealed where his final resting place was.
Oh, okay.
That's never been revealed.
Wow. Can you imagine if they did and what that would look like? It's just
exactly why they don't.
Yeah. Manuel Murphy on Facebook. So many Prince songs. Me, if I was your girlfriend, sounds like he was begging. Well, my favorite is How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore. So it's just I just love the way that song is made. Marcy
a beautiful B-side. That's not that was a B-side to the 1999 single.
There you go. Marcy J on YouTube, Purple Rain, the most beautiful girl in the world. Saw him in person in DC in 2004 for his musicology tour. He was awesome. And Larry Graham performed too. Oh my God, what a combination. Can you talk about how they came together?
You know what? I know they were always a fan. He was always a fan of his work. I'm not sure how they actually met, but before they started hanging out hard, I mean, Prince was playing songs like The Jam and Release Yourself, and there's another one, Water. Those are the 3 main Larry Graham songs that were played. And then once they did connect, he saw Larry Graham as a father figure.
Right.
We really saw Larry Graham as a father figure and a teacher, and so it was a good relationship.
That is so cool.
I feel like he should narrate their next biography movie that they do about him, because I can listen to you just tell the stories just all the time.
And I remember Stephen Hill doing a special upon Prince's death, and it was brilliant. It was on BET.
Oh, I think
it was positively brilliant.
It was the thing that kept me from crying that night. It's a thing. Throwing myself into that is the only thing that kept me from balling up, getting into a ball and crying the entire time, getting that show ready for the night. I appreciate you for remembering that, because it It was a tough day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know, Yolanda, we have a lot of people I want to get through these. C.M. Williams, my favorite concert, hands down, was seeing Prince's 1999 tour, 6 rows from the stage. Oh, go ahead with yourself. 1983, Radio City Music Hall, and Vanity opened for him. Vanity 6. Wow. Wow.
Yepper.
Good
Vanity 6 and the Time.
times.
And the Time. Vanity
And
6
the
on the Time
time.
on the 1990
Yes.
Triple Threat Tour. Oh,
Wow.
good
That was
stuff.
awesome.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
I have not
Spectacular.
heard Vanity 6 before.
One more.
Well, so you've
Yolanda,
never
if you
heard of
have it.
Vanity 6 before?
No.
Do you think I'm a nasty girl? Boom, 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 boom. You never heard
Okay,
that?
that's all you can do because then we'll get fined. Yolanda, do we have any more or should we is that it? Okay.
I'm gonna have to Google.
Well, wait till we finish before you Google because you'll get into music and we'll lose you. We'll absolutely lose you. All right. Thanks so much for providing memories as well as songs that you absolutely love. And I really appreciate that. Let's move to trending. As I mentioned, happy Pride Month. And Kwyn, you have Pride Month events?
Yes, Chicago. Please coming out to these free events. One is virtual, 2 are in person. The first one is this Saturday, June 10th at the Chicago Theological Seminary. We're going to have a conversation between queer theologians, queer organizers, and just pulpit, ministers about the church, this current political time that we're in about violence against trans people, as well as how folks can no longer be allies, but co-conspirators in the liberation of queer people. And it's free. It starts at 1 p.m. and it ends at 3 p.m. and that's on June 10th. And then on June 15th, there's going to be a Trans 101 virtual teach-in with Caden Coleman. He was one of the 15 Black dads that was recognized by Ebony magazine. He's a Black trans man who has 2 beautiful, beautiful daughters. He's just going to break down everything rudimentary all the way up and answer all the questions about gender affirming care. How did he come into his trans identity? What does it mean to be a Black gay trans man? And all these different nuances and stuff like that. And at the end of the month, June 30th, we're going to have a Pride and Poetry open mic. And it's going to be catered by the only Black and woman and queer-owned taco spot in Chicago called Taylor's Tacos. And I'm just excited for the tacos. I'm not going to lie to you because they're fire. So come out to this free open mic to get some food at least, y'all. But also our poetry speakers, Goddess Warrior, the poet. And we have another young lady who I haven't had the privilege to meet yet, who are featuring. So that's June 10th, June 15th, and June 30th, all free. You can check out the Community Renewal Society. That's CRSChicago.com to register for all these events, or even just find them on Facebook and Instagram at CRS Chicago.
Absolutely wonderful. Stephen Hill, where will the lovely Shantae Moore be performing?
Father's Day in the lovely Dallas Fort Worth area. I believe a Grand Prairie with Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight. That's an evening of women singing well, my friend. So if you can be there, you should be there. Women singing well. Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Shantae Moore, and then at the end of the month, if you're in the Bay Area, Yoshi's. One of her favorite spots in the world. Yoshi's on the 30th of June and the 1st of July. On the 1st of July.
Awesome.
Even
Yes.
you got blocked out August 26th for New York, okay?
August 26th, I believe, is Burning Man, but we can talk about it.
That's
I thought I could get you 2 months ahead. Golly.
Stephen is like a year ahead for events like that.
A year ahead? I do not
Burning
know my
Man.
life a year.
Last week before Labor Day, every year, as long as I can, as long as my brain cells can take it, as long as I have enough brain cells.
Burning Man.
Wow.
Don't even want to know. Don't even. I just know that you come back a real man comes back. Yeah, it's different. Let's continue with things that have gone on today. This story came out last night, and it's another one with senseless gun violence. And what makes it so horrific is that many of us just came from high school graduations. You come out of the venue, and people are standing around taking pictures. Friends are hugging each other as they're going their separate ways. A father and son, 18-year-old recent graduate, walked off the stage outside. He, 18 years old, Sean, and his father, Lorenzo, were killed as a result of a grudge that Sean had with the shooter who has been arrested, a 19-year-old boy. Just moments after the high school graduation that was held at Virginia Commonwealth University, 18-year-old Sean Jackson, his father, Lorenzo Smith, were killed in the shooting, which left 5 others injured, according to police. And police report that the 19-year-old gunman, identified as Amari Pollard, opened fire minutes after the high school graduation, as I said, in Richmond, Virginia. He targeted the 18-year-old graduate, Sean, adding they had a long-running dispute. And that is a topper. That is a topper. But think about this. The mother reported she lost her son, she lost her husband, and there was a report of a 9-year-old girl who was hit by a car. That was their child.
Yeah.
It boggles the mind. But once again, we're talking about guns and owning guns and who should and should not. And this kid, the 2 boys, Sean is all hyped up about his graduation. His friend comes, and the former friend, and they, kind of go at each other. He leaves, he goes to his car, gets his handgun, comes back and shoots. Oh boy, shot him, shot his father and 5 other people. And the little girl was running, and she was hit by a car in all of the craziness that was going on. We got to stop it. The madness has to stop. The little girl was treated for leg injuries and apparently went to the hospital, but she may have already been released. More hats have been thrown into the political ring today. Not unexpected. There was Mike Pence. Chris Christie is coming about. So it looks like it's about 10. And the governor of North Dakota, who apparently is a successful tech entrepreneur. All of his money, he could fund his own campaign. But he has made a lot of difference in terms of employment and things like that in North Dakota. They have, according to this gentleman, they have the 3rd highest employment rate in the country. And so he's very proud of that. And he's also very proud of his conservatism, because they are anti-women's reproductive rights as well as anti-transgender and gay rights as well. So another and
that's not what we mean. That's not what we mean by Pride Month, by the way. Don't be proud of that.
No, there's no pride there.
Yeah,
so
that's not what we need. Just no confusion. I'm proud that I am trying to keep people from doing the things they want to do. I'm proud. That's not what we need. It's not what we mean by Pride Month.
As expected, thank you for that. Right on time there. CNN chairman and CEO Chris Licht was shown the door today after a brief tumultuous tenure. His departure topped this year, marked by layoffs, shrinking profits, historically low rates.
Kwyn, we're here, right?
Yeah.
Sybil seems to not be anymore.
I don't know.
Well, just in case, by the way, Chris Licht, who was the head of CNN for just a short period of time, was absolutely kicked out of the door. There was an unbelievably scathing expose on him, I believe, in the Atlantic. I'm not sure. Talking about toxic workplaces. And you have seen CNN. CNN's gone under a kind of change recently, and evidently, it's not the kind of change that his boss is like. So they didn't like Licht. So Licht had to. Can't think of another L word. I was trying to go to Alliteration City, but I couldn't do it. They didn't like Licht.
So, they didn't like the Licht. He had to leave.
That's right.
How long was he the CEO?
Less than a year.
Yes, Leah.
But he did a lot in that year. He did a lot, and they're still shaking their heads apparently about
Evidently too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
Will they give Don Lemon his job back after the new CEO comes back?
Say that again, my Don.
I said, would Don Lemon get his job back?
That's a good question. How they will recoup from this
No.
because they've lost
No.
so many. Stephen Hill is saying no.
It's a wrap. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. There have been a lot of people who have left. Not the least of which are Don Lemon and a friend. Ryan has left CNN for MSNBC, and I'm not sure who's going to be there to turn the lights out or what will happen from there.
So true.
Smoke from the Canadian fires have triggered air pollution warnings along the East Coast. New York City air quality hits the worst level in the world. Stephen, cough, Hill.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's in these wildfires. I don't know what's in these woods that is making that. Either that's a lot of woods, or there's some kind of toxic chemical plant, and they're hiding it from us. Right? Maybe there's a Chernobyl Part 2 happening, but this seems a lot in a very short period of time.
Think about this: 400 fires across Canada. 400 fires.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of fires.
What caused the fires? Do we know what caused the fires?
They said that some of it was electrical fires, lightning, that kind of thing. Others were controlled fires that got out of hand, and the other 398, I'm not sure.
They're not really. If they're controlled fires that get out of hand, they're not controlled fires.
They're not. Yeah, right. That's often the case in California.
Definition.
Yeah, exactly. Smoke from the Canadian wildfires triggered air pollution warnings along the East Coast, as I said, and New York City skyline appeared reddish orange, more like it was the planet Mars, life on the planet Mars. And Canadian officials have reached out to other countries to help fight the more than 400 fires across the country that have displaced tens of thousands of people. Smoke triggered air pollution warnings along the East Coast, as I said, and Major League Baseball had to postpone games in the Yankees versus the White Sox and the Phillies versus the Tigers, both of those East Coast home games for the Phillies and for the Yankees due to the wildfires. Now, check this out. You may recognize this actress. Her name is Jodie Comer. She Killing Eve was one of the shows that she starred in. She is doing a one-woman show on Broadway. She stopped the show and said, "I can't breathe." And she dramatically left the stage. Her understudy had to come in. And she said she just minutes into her one-woman show. And this is the way that it's affecting people. Everyone is
it's that bad?
Yeah. Inside the theater.
Jeez.
She left it several minutes into the matinee on her one-woman Broadway show called Prima Facie after struggling to breathe. It was a struggle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
Sorry about that.
So check on your peeps. They're warning people who have breathing conditions such as asthma and things like that, COPD, not to go outside if you can, and to try to keep everything locked up. Not even opening your windows and things like that, because it's just that dangerous. Mm-hmm. It's really a frightening situation.
All right. Keep my butt here on the West Coast. Oh no, that's not true. I am going.
You going east, young man?
The Apollo. For a second. Oh, sorry, Yolanda. Yes, the Apollo's having their final benefit under the auspices of under the design of Janelle Procope, who's been there for years running the Apollo. Took it from being all the way in the red to something that's making money, and something to raising its profile as an amazing institution, cultural institution. She is her last benefit is on Monday, but Janelle Procope is a Black woman who has been doing great stuff for years. Michelle Ebanks, former head of Essence, will be taking over that gig after Janelle leaves. But salute.
Can y'all hear that? Can y'all
Yes.
hear the
Yes.
crackling of the thunder? Okay, I just want to let you know this is where I'm not sure what's going on with you guys, but this is where we are, and it usually happens in this hour. So I
Uh,
apologize if we lose you. Let's move to entertainment right quick as we try to complete our show. Do you remember It Wasn't Me, Stephen Hill, Shaggy?
absolutely.
Okay, so he says it's time to set the record straight. It wasn't me. Is said to be, in his eyes, and it really is an anti-cheating song.
No, it's not.
He said
He's
he
lying.
says it was a big misconception with that
No, it
song
wasn't.
because it's not a cheating song. It's anti-cheating. And
No,
he
it's not.
said it's because no one listened to the end of the record, to the very end. The Jamaican reggae rapper claimed this week in an interview. He said, then at the end, the guy says, I'm going to tell her that I'm sorry for the pain that I've caused. I've been listening to your reasoning. It makes no sense at all. Going to tell her I'm sorry for the pain that I've caused. You might think that you're a player, but you're completely lost. He says nobody hears that part and just sings along to It Wasn't Me, and thereby missing his intended meaning.
Yeah.
Not so much Stephen
Mm,
Hill.
yeah. I mean, he's not sorry for cheating. He's sorry he got caught. Let's be we've all like he wasn't sorry for cheating. He's mad because he got caught. Uh, uh,
Mhm.
um, let's see. How could you give access? She caught me on the counter. It wasn't me. She saw me banging on the sofa. It wasn't me. Even though I had him in the shower, it wasn't me. Now he got caught. And he's just giving the old Eddie Murphy line from Raw. Wasn't
Gonna
me.
Who you
Right.
gonna
That's what it's
believe?
based on.
Yeah.
You know, you don't Shaggy's song. It wasn't me. Is kind of the whole refrain is based on. I need 87, 87 or 88. Eddie Murphy's Raw. But I saw you there. Was you? Wasn't
Would
me.
be.
Wasn't me. But you was right there. And then you know, you maybe it wasn't him. You know what I'm
Quinn,
saying?
a song
But it's not
obviously
HCD.
before you were born, but have you heard Shaggy's It Wasn't Me?
Oh yeah, and I saw all the little renditions that people did on TikTok, and I remember banging on the bathroom floor was like amazing. So the fact that he's saying it's an anti-cheating song is very. I don't know why he
He's
wouldn't say
lying.
that.
I
But okay.
It's not that. I will say once again, digging into one of the best concerts I ever saw was Shaggy and Sting together,
Oh
and
my
so they just
gosh, yeah.
so
You saw that?
Shaggy does this, and Sting sings all those lyrics. But she caught me on the counter. She saw me banging on the. So talk about here's Sting talking about both butt naked banging on the bathroom floor is one of the best things your ears could ever be treated to.
Coming from Sting, that's funny.
Coming from
That's a
Sting.
wow, wow. I remember talking about that tour. You saw it. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's something
Yes.
I always wanted to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what a combo. That powerful combination. Let's look at Yogi's Jewel. This week the theme is grief, and you would not believe how apropos this week's theme is. Grief looks different on all of us. Let's support each other the way that we need to be supported. Just breathe. There's no in, there's no out. Just breathe as we go through this and
I want to.
understanding.
I'm sorry, if I can shout out Paul Eckstein, co-creator of Godfather of Harlem,
Oh,
also worked on Narcos, and a friend of mine, college mate of mine, just passed away yesterday unexpectedly from a heart condition. And the news of that is just now breaking. Talk about a solid gentleman who in this business did what he said and was always creative and gave you the truth about what he felt. So when he loved it, you knew he loved it. And when you hated it, he knew that was the case. And he and his partner Chris Brancato, who also we went to school with together,
mhm.
made some great started Narcos, Godfather of Harlem. Paul by himself did the movie Posse. So
Oh,
Paul Eckstein unfortunately passed away at the age of 59.
I'm
So
so
grief.
sorry
When you
to
said
hear that.
grief, yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those that hit like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, I had a part of my childhood was a woman who my mother was her mentor in the Chicago Public Schools, and got a call from her daughter that she died of ALS, which is a
Oh,
horrific thing. But Joyce
yeah.
Merrick Swordsman she introduced me to all kinds of things and great things for a 9, 10-year-old kid who was going through the loss of her father and all of these things that I was living through. And Joyce Bjork Swordsman was the right person in my life at the right time. And said my mother made a big difference in her life as a teacher, but she made a big difference in my life as a human being. And so it's been one of those weeks. Everybody has had something that I've talked to. So thank you, Yolanda, for your presence and knowing that this was needed at this time. You guys have been great. Thank you so much. Kwyn, safe travels to you. Stephen Hill, you as well. Be careful out there. And everyone, we will see you all again soon. Aloha.
Merry Princess